Hello and welcome to my lecture on how to conduct a Spearman correlation in SPSS and write up the results. We're going to talk about how to conduct a Spearman test in SPSS, how to create a scatter plot, and then how to modify that scatter plot to be in APA format, and how to present all of those results using current APA style conventions. So for this Spearman's R, we're going to look, is there a relationship between average number of sodas consumed per day and ranking of soda? So since we have ranking of soda, that's ordinal. Our average number of sodas is ratio, but since you have a ranking, you can't do a Pearson's R, so we will be doing a Spearman's. Now, I already have SPSS data set up. This is my example data I've used for a few examples. So if you don't have an SPSS file with this data yet, go ahead and pause this and create your SPSS file. You can check that your SPSS data entry looks like mine. Remember, in SPSS, you have two views of your data. You have data view, which is your actual numbers, and then you can toggle to the variable view by the lower left hand button. Variable view allows you to name your variables and set their scale of measurement. So we do have one ordinal and one scale variable that we will be using in this particular example. So to run a Spearman's correlation, we're going to go to Analyze, Correlate, and Bivariate. We're going to choose our two variables and move them into the variables box as shown here, and then make sure you unclick Pearson and make sure that Spearman is selected, and then click OK. This should be the output that SPSS provides for you. Now we see our correlation coefficient is -0.937. That's a very strong correlation. So the significant value is less than 0.001. Since that's less than our alpha value of 0.05, we are going to reject our null hypothesis and state that there is a relationship. Now for statistical notation, the R will have a subscript of an S to let us know it's a Spearman's, and then you report your correlation coefficient. And you see that we have two different ways of reporting here. You can report the exact sample size in the top example of n equals 10, or you can report the degrees of freedom, which is just the n minus 2, so it would be 8 in this particular example. And then you follow that by your exact p-value. Don't forget your statistical symbols are italicized. So you can write either of those statistical notations within a complete sentence for it to be correct in APA style. I'll show you an example at the end. Now we need to create a scatter plot in SPSS. So you're going to go to Graphs and click Scatter Plot. It does not matter which one is on the X or the Y axis, but if you want yours to match mine, I did the average number of sodas consumed on the Y and then the ranking on the X. However, this is not an APA format. I want to hide those horizontal grid lines, and I also need to make sure my axis titles are not bold. Now they should be in title case, and I don't like ranking and average, so I'm going to make them more descriptive. Just don't forget to use title case. Once you think you have it in APA format, I will show you on the next slide what it should look like. Okay, here are our professional results for Spearman's R correlation with a figure and a write-up. The write-up says, a Spearman correlation revealed a significant relationship between number of sodas consumed and ranking of preference for soda as a beverage. Then we have our RS subscript with the degrees of freedom of 8 equals -0.937. P is less than 0.001, two-tailed. As shown in figure 3, those who ranked soda as more preferred, which is a lower rank, tended to drink more sodas each day. And then you can see that the figure is now in APA format. We just copy and paste that figure into the Word document, and then you type in the figure number, the title, and the note as shown here. Just briefly reminding you that the figure number is bold. Everything should be double spaced, so then the title is below it, not bold, but it is italicized in title case. And then below the figure itself is the word note that's italicized, and then you just need to have a complete sentence of something. I wrote here just the sample size and the p-value. And that's it. Thanks for watching.